So, let's get this over with. I've always been a fan of Pokemon. My first Pokemon game was Pokemon Red, and my last was Ultra Moon. But when it came to favorite Pokemon, Weavile is always the first thing that comes to my mind, especially when Platinum was a big deal. I was about 16 back then, and I almost screamed when I went to the nearest GameStop to buy the game, because I was almost in love with the devil of Pokemon itself, Giratina. When I saw that it was on sale, I quickly grabbed it to see the price tag, and to my surprise, it was only $5, which isn't usual, even if it's on sale. Of course not, it's GameStop. I brought it to the cashier, and after buying it, I went home to play it, while in a big rush, because I was too excited. But there was something different about the Giratina on the front. It had a claw mark on its eye, and it was a bit rusty, but I ignored that and started playing the game. When I reached Route 216, this was my team. Blaze, the level 29 Monferno. Carver, 31 Cypher. Thunder, 33 Luxray. Legend, 30 Lucario. Person of my tastes. Shadow, 31 Haunter. And Drogon, 32 Gabite. It was not long before I encountered the first Pokemon there. It was a level 35 Sneasel, but it was different. The fur was black. Feathers were golden yellow, and its eyes and its third eye were dark green. No way, don't tell me this is a shiny. Oh, and by the way, back then I didn't know what shiny Sneasel looked like, so stop saying I'm stupid. I switched out Blaze for Thunder so I could paralyze it, and I did. Right after weakening the creature, I threw an Ultra Ball and caught it at first shot. Yes! After getting the new special Pokemon, I called it Claws and headed back to the nearest Pokemon Center to retrieve it. But when I did, all the other Pokemon were gone, like my Pikachu and my Shieldon, but I thought that it was just a glitch or something and that they'll come back soon after. I saw that it was late at night, so I saved the game and shut my DS to go to sleep. The next morning, I woke up to the sound of my alarm, since I forgot to shut it off. I went to unplug it, but something caught my eye. A yellow feather with a bit of red on the tip. It was next to my DS. I picked it up and opened it, but the two screens were pitch black. I started mashing buttons, but nothing worked. I took out the cartridge and put it back in. The game finally started. The same intro play, except for the fact that there was no sound to be heard, not even the Giratina cry. I was already in the game though, in the Pokemon Center. I checked my party. There was my newest Pokemon, who strangely evolved into Weavile without me knowing. I found it strange, but I continued on, leaving the Pokemon Center. I continued until I reached Spear Pillar. That's when things started to go wrong. When I reached the cutscene where you encounter Giratina, there was nobody, and Giratina just appeared. Weavile came out, and the screens flashed a blinding light, and I was already at the place where I battled Giratina, in the Distortion world. I engaged in a battle and sent out Weavile. Huh? Wasn't he at the back of my team? Like before, there was no sound, and I couldn't control Weavile. What I was sad about was that I wanted to catch Giratina, but since I couldn't control anything, I wouldn't be able to catch it. Weavile only needed a few Shadow Claws to take down the Giratina, but the fight didn't end there. Weavile used Pain Split. I suddenly felt ill and had a huge pain in my chest and head, and I needed to vomit badly. I went to the bathroom to do so, but when I did, I puked out blood and golden feathers. The pain was gone, and I went back to my room, seeing even more feathers, and I saw my DS was on that shelf. I remember I didn't take it off my bed. I opened the DS and was greeted by my Weavile with bloody claws, and we were at the Spear Pillar. What made my eyes water was that all my 5 other Pokemon were impaled by the small pillars, with blood oozing out of them, but Weavile looked happy, which also sent chills down my spine. There was also Giratina with a slit throat and an open chest that was making all its organs spill out. It was laying dead behind Weavile. I forced the DS closed and looked at the Weavile plushie that I had. It used to be a shiny Weavile, but now it was exactly like the Weavile I caught. Black, with golden feathers and green eyes. I screamed and threw my pocket knife at it, but instead of cotton coming out, it was red feathers, and a strong scent of blood came all over my room. I grabbed the plushie, took out the knife, and went out to the kitchen to get some stitches because I regretted my move. After stitching up the hole I made on my beloved plushie, I returned to my room. I slowly reached towards my DS and opened it. A message popped up in the middle of the screen. Why? I simply answered with, because I got scared, I'm sorry. Fine. The screen faded black and we were at Route 216, exactly at the spot where I found Weavile. I'm not just a different Weavile, if you don't remember. I look at my screen and check the party. Blaze, 49 Infernape. Icicle, level 100 Weavile. Thunder, 50 Luxray. Legend, 47 Lucario. Shadow, 50 Haunter. Drogon, 52 Garchomp. Why you haven't traded your Haunter to get it to level up the Gengar, I don't know, but whatever. I recognize that new name. It was the name of the Weavile that my character had in the Pokemon Diamond copy I had before. You understand now? Yes, I think I do. The screen went black and I started mashing buttons and turning the DS on and off. I tried everything, but it didn't work. I looked at my Weavile plushie and it stayed black and gold. I grabbed it and hugged it. The stitched were gone. I'm sorry that I broke my Diamond copy. So now you know why my opinion changed on Weavile, but please know, I still have that copy of Pokemon Platinum, and Icicle is always on my team. But I still sometimes remember my Impaled team and the dead Giratina, and a part of me still doesn't want to forgive Icicle.